Seekers Network.
What's out there?
Welcome to the Cryptid Campfire Podcast, hosted by Chris Allsford, former Queen's Guard and Legend Seeker.
Campfire Podcast, every shadow's got a story to share. If you've seen something out there, yeah, we'll meet you there.
Hey everybody, Chris Allsford from Legend Seekers here, and this is a Cryptid Campfire Podcast, the first episode. Tonight we're going to be talking about the land between the lakes, or LBL for short, the 172,000 acre national park, southwest Kentucky, northeast Tennessee, and it's about an hour south of the Ozarks, if that's something you're familiar with. Occupied by the Shawnee tribe, before the white folk arrived. And when they arrived, the French settlers, the Shawnee tribe gave caution to enter in certain parts of the forest where they described a beast, which translated as a rougarou, which in English is werewolf. Now, in the 1700s, the area was being populated and settled. Trappers were in the area, explorers. The farmers, everybody was reporting finding their livestock and animals mutilated and eaten by something big, powerful and unknown. Now, if we fast forward now to the 1980s, a family of four went camping in their mobile home. The mother, the father, a teenage son, and a 5-year-old daughter. And what happened was, obviously we wouldn't be discussing it, but the entire family were killed. The motorhome was destroyed, and I quote, by something with enormous strength. All the bodies were mutilated. The mother, the father, and the son were inside the motorhome, but the 5-year-old girl was missing. And they mounted a search and eventually found her in a tree, partially eaten, and in her fingers she was holding grey fur. Now, on all the bodies, the bite marks and claw marks did not match bears or wolves, and they were 4-finger gashes 2 inches apart. So these are enormous hands with claws and 4 fingers, which stands out. Whilst the police and the rescue, the ambulance, everybody was there, the men in black arrived and relieved everybody of their duties, told them to go home and not to speak of it. There's no official records anymore, but of course, it's that far back now. The people involved have reached the age of retirement. And throughout the last 45 years, whispers, rumors been getting out. And now people are starting to talk about it. And one thing is, the fur sample taken from the hands of the unfortunate 5-year-old girl had no known match, but the closest resemblance was to wolves. So you make your own mind up what that could be there. But to share an experience that was had in this location with me tonight is the wonderful Natalie Smearmen, who is going to introduce herself, tell us what she's working on, and tell us about the experience she had with her team recently. Hi, Natalie.
Hi, Chris. How you doing?
I am good. Thank you. How are you?
Good. Thank you. Thank you for having me on. This is a subject near and dear to my heart because we were just there in November doing a full investigation.
I am really grateful that you said yes to coming onto my first show, which is bound to have a load of mistakes. Yeah.
So the Relic Film crew and I decided to venture into this area. This has been on our bucket list because of all of the paranormal and cryptid activity and areas of really high strangeness, that things are happening there that cannot be explained. And so we decided to go in for a week, rustic camp in a remote area, and then go and investigate several really, really hot spots where that mutilation, that family was murdered. as well as other locations where it is extreme activity that people have witnessed and are terrified to even go into. So, of course, we go in, and we made sure that we conducted experiments and recorded everything. And what happened to us was nothing short of amazing. I can only tell you that I've heard of stories like this. Never thought I'd witness it in a million years, but I'm going to tell you all about it right now. So are you ready?
Yeah.
Awesome. So where we were, there were several of us that went in, and we wanted to make sure that we looked very vulnerable. We didn't want to go in looking with guns and, ammunition and looking like we're hunters or that we're ready to start a fight. But we wanted to go in looking like they could come out and feel comfortable. So the team was an all-female investigative team that went into this hotspot, and we went in with 2 cameramen. One cameraman was armed with a little pistol, and I was armed with bear spray, and that was it. That's all that we had. This, where we went, was about a good 45 minutes into the forest, and we drove in small, tiny, remote roads that are barely, if you don't have a truck, you can't get in. So we went through and kept going around, and we just kept getting this weird feeling as we're driving in. And when we went down the final road to get to our location, the best way I can describe it is what nightmares and horror films are made of. It is this tiny dirt road that was overgrown. The forest beside you is just black because, it's at night. You can't see anything beyond your windows on the sides. And the bridge that we had to go across, my little truck fit, but the foliage and the shrubs were hitting my windows. But before we went across the bridge, I saw a face in the brush, a large face, very, very tall, and duck down really quick.
Uh-oh.
And I'm going, they know we're here. Whatever it is, we didn't even understand what that was. And so we said, we're going to go in. This is why we're here. We get there. We turn around because we wanted to make sure that we had an easy way to get out in case things went really, really bad. And so we had our windows down. The keys were in the vehicles, and we were ready. If anything went bad, you jump in the vehicle and you go. So we were in this old graveyard on a slanted hill, and not a large graveyard, very small. And it was surrounded by shrubs and foliage and forest. And behind us was a large open field. So we started to move our way up the hill. Now, earlier that week in the campground at night, on my way to use the restroom, I got growled at. And it wasn't a bear. It wasn't a wolf. It was something completely unknown. And it made this god-awful growl that I've never heard before. I stood there for a minute just observing. Nothing else happened. So I told my producer, Greg Ogles, I said, I want to do that growl that it made to me. I want to do it to see if we can get a response. So halfway up the hill, he gives the motion, go ahead. I make 3 growls, really, really loud. And then out of nowhere, it broke loose. From the ridgeline, you hear boom, boom, boom. And the ground underneath us is shaking like an earthquake. And I look at him and he looks at me and I said, I'm doing it again. So I growled again and it happened again. The ground is, we're all like, what is going on? Then the movement started from all around us in the forest. It started moving in. We can hear footsteps, large footsteps walking towards us, but we couldn't see anything on the therm, nothing with the naked eye. We did not have flashlights because we wanted to make sure that we could see everything from the moonlight, because the next night was a full moon, so we could really see pretty well. And we wanted to make sure that we could see any shadows in the forest. So then at the top of the hill at the tree line, I see a bluish white light behind a tree. And I looked to the left of me. I said, Amy, do you see that light? She goes, yeah, what is that? I said, I don't know what that is. I said, there's nothing up there that would create that light. I said, we're going to need to keep an eye on that. So Melissa does a howl, which then prompted these booms again, but rhythmic. It was very rhythmic. And it was almost like a Native American tribal like drum, but the ground was shaking. And then it just stopped. And then out of nowhere behind us, this dog starts barking. Now, there are no homes. There's nobody living in this area. We are miles and miles away from anything. And this dog out of nowhere starts barking. Then we start hearing strange noises in the forest. And I look up ahead at this blue light, and now the bluish white light is more prominent. And it's in the shape of an oval. And there's these little sparkling lights all around it. And I'm like, and I go to Jamie, another teammate. I said, are you seeing this? She goes, yeah. And then all of a sudden, Melissa goes, I don't feel good. I'm getting nauseous. I'm getting lightheaded. I don't feel good. I said, get behind me, because I'm going to because a lot of times in these situations when you're out in amongst cryptid and paranormal activity, a lot of times people can get sick. And so if you block that energy, it blocks them from getting sick. So I said, get behind me. I'll try to block it. Meanwhile, I'm still observing. We have two members with thermal cameras. They're trying to pick up whatever that they can, and our cameramen are picking up whatever they can. She's feeling better. We're still making different noises, trying to record things, talking amongst each other. We're moving up the hill a little bit. And then Jamie goes, I don't feel good. She gets sick. She moves in behind me, and she's right up against me, just resting on my back. And I'm like, okay, this is now we're getting surrounded where there's more movement moving in closer and closer. And then Melissa gets sick again. Now I have Jamie and Melissa behind me. Greg goes, I'm going to do a growl. So he does this god awful like, Rah! And then I look up at the tree line, and this entity crawls out of the oval at the top of the tree line on all fours and is just lanky. I said, I have a crawler at my 12 o'clock. Then another one comes out. I said, I have two crawlers at my 12 o'clock. And then another one. So I have three crawlers on all fours moving back and forth on the ground, all in a line, watching us. I'm going, this isn't good. I'm like, nothing good can come from this. Meanwhile, this strange dog is still barking behind us. We're still getting movement around us. And now we're hearing strange metal noises like a car, but it's not. In the forest, and there's no roads where a car would be in this forest. You would see it. And I'm waiting. I'm like, is there a car coming down the road? There's nothing on the road, because there's a tiny little dirt road that comes in. There's nothing there. So then I'm like, okay, we just have to be prepared. And then out of nowhere, Greg yells, ah! And he takes his camera from his right hand to his left, goes to grab for his gun. I look, and one of those crawlers is charging us and is coming down the hill between like a gallop and like a fast crawl. This long, lanky arms, lanky fingers. It's just like this grayish black entity. And I'm like, oh God. And I grab my bear spray and I lunge for it and I spray it. And it stops it and retreats back. Of course, we're having to retreat back too, because it's bear spray. It's awful. And bear spray, for those who are not familiar with it, it makes a very loud noise when you spray it, and it sprays pepper spray 15 to 20 feet in front of you, wherever you're aiming it. Well, I must have gotten this entity, and it stopped it from coming at us or attacking us. It retreats back up the hill. We're having to move down the hill. And so now we're like, okay, everybody's good. You know, we're all making sure everybody's good. The moment we get to the bottom of the hill, we hear a woman scream from behind us in the pasture that's behind us. Kristen turns around with her therm. She goes, I have a large bipedal creature in that area looking at us and watching us. So she has it on therm, on a video, and she's just watching this thing. One of our cameramen came around to see if he could pick it up as well. All of a sudden, all the batteries die. The batteries in the cameras die. The backup batteries die. The only thing that's working right now is Kristen's therm. Even batteries in our phone die. So we're like, now we're in a predicament. We have still these things, these crawlers, what I call crawlers, at the top of the hill watching us with this oval light. The movement is coming in from the forest. I look to the left of me and there are red orbs in front of my truck. I look to the right of me, there's red orbs on the other side of the other truck. And I'm seeing orbs. They're like, this is, because when you see red orbs, what I have experienced is it's not a good energy. It's almost like they're ready to fight. They're wanting to make sure that, you know, whatever you're going to do, they're going to come at you of some form or way. We're talking, I'm like, what are we going to do? Are we going to stay here? Are we going to move? Are we going to, because we have no cameras. We have nothing other than one therm left. Greg goes, I think we're going to have to call it. Let's just make sure we regroup and stay close. As soon as he said that, I looked to my left and there was this large, massive Sasquatch walk right behind my truck and disappeared into thin air. There was no flash. There was no orbs. There was no nothing. It walked and disappeared like that. And I'm in disbelief, and I'm looking around and I'm like, what else is going to come at us? So it was so intense. And we're like, are you okay? We're making sure everybody's okay. He called it. He goes, we're getting out of here. We get in our vehicles, and the moment we get in our vehicles and start it up, we all start to experience either sickness, illness. My chest felt like something was sitting on it. My throat was starting to close. Everybody had something happen. We're like, get out of here. So we drive out. As soon as we hit the top of the road and make a left onto the other road, all the illnesses, all the symptoms went away.
The Cryptid Campfire Podcast will be back after this short break.
From the shadows of ancient forests to the whispers carried on the night wind, legends are born where truth and myth collide. Across the world, stories have been passed down through generations. Tales of creatures unseen, places unexplained, and encounters that defy logic. Were they warnings, histories, or something far more real? Join explorer, researcher, and storyteller Daniel Lee Barnett as he journeys into the unknown, uncovering the myths, legends, and unexplained phenomena that still haunt our world today. This is not just folklore. This is not just storytelling. This is mythical legend. And these are the stories they don't want you to forget.
And now we head back to the Cryptid Campfire Podcast.
We got back to base camp. We regrouped. But we did go back to a different location the next night where that family was murdered.
Okay.
And there was a larger group of us. And we said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to split up. We're not going to have any flashlights. It's only going to be therm and night vision and our own vision. So a small group of us went to the right. Another group went to the left. And we started down the path. We get to a power line, which a lot of times people will see Sasquatch and other cryptids walking along power lines. Jamie goes, I don't have a good feeling. Something is here. I said, are you getting energy from the power lines or something else? She goes, I don't know. We pull out the therm, and there is a large bipedal creature behind a tree peeking out and looking at us. So we're keeping an eye on it. Sean, with his night vision, goes, I'm going to go up ahead. You guys stay here. As soon as he started to walk up ahead to go past it, it starts growling at him. He retreats back to the group. He goes, we're going to move forward as a group. As soon as we move forward and we're having eyes on this bipedal creature, we start to move forward. It now leaves behind the tree and starts walking. And we hear the footsteps walking. And as we're walking, it's paralleling us and growling at us. And we keep walking, and we get to this tiny little service road that goes down a hill. And at the very base of the hill, way, way down, is this truck with a little campfire. And we're like, that's odd, because that normally doesn't happen. But what we realized is this creature was watching this camper. Do you have, like, almost like, what do you have? Like, I need to keep an eye on you. And here we come from behind, scaring this creature. Now it's growling at us and looking at us like we're the enemy. I'm like, I'm wondering if it's looking for food. So I said, let's just keep walking up the path. And we walked away. And as soon as we walked past that service road and got away, it stopped following us. It stayed there. Meanwhile, we keep walking, and now we're hearing movement to the left of us. We don't get anything on the therm, but then as we push forward, Amy goes, I just got something on the therm that I can't explain. And I said, what did you see? I said, best describe it. And she goes, it looked like a witch's hat floating on the ground and moving across the forest floor. I said, okay. I said, check your time. We're going to go ahead back to base camp and take a look. So we meet up with the other team. We exchange notes. We move around. And then after we go back around and get back to our base where the trucks are, we split up into tiny groups. There were 2 of us or either 4 of us to a group. Each one of us split up in remote areas and just sat in silence with no lights and just monitored. One group saw a large white orb moving through and watching everybody. Another group was getting growled at. My group saw this white apparition look like a woman move through the forest. And another group was seeing red orbs. It was unbelievable what we saw. But when we walked past the actual area where this family was brutally murdered, and the reports that I read about this murder, they were shredded. Their claw marks, and they were shredded. And then that little girl was found way up in a tree. And then wolves don't climb trees.
No.
And the only thing that does put their prey in a tree would be a large predatory cat like that you'll find in either South America or in Africa. And it was very, very just bizarre. And there are no large cats like that in or around this area. But that's really not the first time that something like this has happened in that forest, and they've kept it very quiet. You know, that first instance where that family was murdered, the men in black came in high-ranking military groups came in and investigated, and all the press was removed. Nobody was allowed talking about it. You heard nothing. There was nothing in newspapers, nothing in the news, nothing. It was just silent. And then you heard of other things happening in that forest where people go up missing or found shredded, and it just disappears. So that's why we went in to investigate and really just get a better grasp of what is in there. And we came away with experiences that none of us have ever experienced before. And I do want to go back and do more filming and more investigative work. But it was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I don't know where to start with that.
Yeah.
Obvious question. How big were the crawlers?
The crawlers were, if I could give like a comparison, a man about 6'5", 6'7". They were but they were lanky. They were just really lanky. And this is not the first time that people have witnessed that.
No.
People have witnessed crawlers and Bigfoot and Dogman in these areas.
Yeah.
And there have been, and it's like, what is about this area? Now, we do know that over 2,000 people that had lived in this area were pushed out. There were deaths involved. And then you have this negative energy in and around that area. And I can't tell you, I mean, it is, the energy in this area is just profound.
Yeah. Well, you look at the geography of it, it's quite a strange, the land between the lakes, and they've built a lake on each side, like created this area of land that's absolutely isolated for some reason, or very, very well controlled.
The Cryptid Campfire Podcast will be back after this short break.
What really happens when the cameras stop rolling and the lights go out? Legend Seekers. Uncut is the official behind-the-scenes podcast that pulls back the curtain on the hit series Legend Seekers. Hosted by investigator and fan-favorite RPG, this podcast dives deep into each episode and uncovers the stories that were never told on screen. Every episode, RP revisits a Legend Seekers investigation and breaks it down piece by piece. The plans that didn't go to script, the moments that were too intense to air, and the experiences that left the team shaken long after filming ended, from unexplained encounters in the dead of night to evidence that raised more questions than answers. Uncut goes where the show couldn't. Joined by cast members, crew, eyewitnesses, and special guests, RPG opens up honest conversations about what really happened in the field. Expect raw reactions, personal reflections, disagreements, laughter, and moments of genuine disbelief as the team revisits encounters that still haunt them. You'll hear about
Investigations that went off the rails,
evidence that never made the final cut,
encounters that challenge beliefs,
and experiences that still defy explanation. And where are the team going next?
This is not a recap.
It's a confession booth for legend hunters. No network limits, no polished edits, just real people, real experiences, and the truth behind the legends. Legend Seekers.
Uncut.
Deeper stories, darker truth.
And now we head back to the Cryptid Campfire.
And we don't know what happened to the dog, because that's going to be important to the listeners.
No, the dog, there was no dog found.
Yeah.
And what we think happened is this creature that was behind us was trying to refocus us away from whatever that we were getting near by barking. Because a lot of times people will witness Bigfoot and other cryptids making noises like a woman screaming or barking like a dog or making animal noises. We believe it was that bipedal creature that we caught on the therm.
So that's you got something deeply unpleasant.
Oh yeah.
The walkers, the crawlers. But you're all getting the classic symptoms of infrasound from a Bigfoot.
That's correct.
Trying to keep you away from the danger zone.
Yeah.
And
we've had several other instances during that week where Greg, our producer and director, got sick twice, and other people were not feeling well. So we've had, it was a plethora of experiences in and around this area. Even on our own campground, we had activity where we had, in the middle of the night, rocks clanking, whistling, whoops. And then I was in a tent, but anybody that was in a camper, their camper got shoved every night. Shoved. I was like, that's so cool.
And it makes you wonder if that's the reason they created this land between the lakes, building the two dams.
And I really do think that there's more to it like that, because the U.S. government will and has been known to purchase land in areas where there have been nests found. And then all of a sudden, the government comes in, purchases the land, and you're not allowed going on it. However, the land between the lakes, you can go on and you can camp, but not many people do because of the history.
But people like me and you, yeah.
People like us. We'll go like, yeah, I'll rest at camp. Sure.
Sounds right. Yeah. Let's head out.
Sounds like a fun time to me.
Yeah. Wow. So you took all this video, you've and thermal footage, everything. You are releasing a
Yes. So Relic Films, who I work with, this is my second film with them. It'll be called Return to Land Between the Lakes, Making Contact. And the very first film that we made is called The Vanished. The Vanished was filmed earlier in this year, and it's being released in January of 2026. So myself and Adam Davis are in this documentary about two unexplained disappearances that happened in the Smoky Mountain National Forest in Tennessee that were just nothing short of incredible.
Okay. Well, we're looking forward to that. And we all know Adam Davis.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he's cool. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, so he's in Return to Land Between the Lakes, Making Contact as well. So he was there right with us. Cool.
So where is this going to be released? Where are we going to find it?
So we are going to be posting that on our YouTube channel as well as our Facebook feed, which is Relic Films Media. So that's our page on Facebook. So if you want to learn more, go ahead and click that like button, Relic Films Media. And we are located, Relic Films is located in Alabama in the US.
Nice. Well, I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be cool. So what's next?
We are filming again in March, and this time we are going to be doing haunted locations where we'll be staying the night in 3 haunted locations and filming the entire night.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're too successful.
Awesome.
I don't know if it's a good plan. You're too successful.
We'll see what happens. But we've got a good year up ahead with filming and attending. Our premiere for The Vanished is January 31st. And then I'll be seeing you in February.
You will? Yes. Looking forward to it.
Yes.
So the problem is with these things, they're far too short, and we've got just too many other things to discuss. So thank you for doing the first one.
Thank you.
I'm not going to ask you to do the second one, but maybe third or fourth. I'll get you back in.
I would love to.
Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, Natalie Smearmen of Relic Films Media. Wow. The Land Between the Lakes from Natalie Smearmen and Relic Films Media. And what a story. What a story. So keep your wits about you when you get out there. Now, thank you for coming in on my first podcast. There's going to be a lot more. And look forward to seeing you next week for the recap on the first Legend Seekers episode. So you're going to have to catch that before you watch the podcast. And remember, guys, I'll see you out there.
The Cryptid Campfire Podcast with Chris Allsford, where legends are shared and the unknown feels closer than ever.
What's out there?